Being a wife, being a husband, don't start when you say I do. Being a wife or a husband, don't start when you say I do. Being a wife or a husband, it's in your character. You've been a wife and been a husband, you've been carrying yourself like this for a long time. You have worked out things in your life, you have healed situations, you have been carrying yourself like a wife. You've been carrying yourself like a husband. You ever seen somebody and the way that they are, you can tell them like, no, don't play with him or don't play with her. Why? Because you realize that is a person that don't play games. That's a person that got self-discipline. See, you can't be in somebody's bed tomorrow and then the next day expect to be somebody gonna think you're gonna find your husband or wife. That's not how it works like that. If you really understand what it means to be in unison with somebody, what it means to be married to somebody, what that means under God, you know that giving away your goodies, giving away who you are to somebody, you cheating on your spouse already before you even got there. The fact that you think that it's okay to have fun, sleep around, and then be like, oh, well, one day I'm going to get married. So you gonna give your spouse goodies away to somebody else in the meantime because you don't have the self-discipline or because you don't have the integrity to wait because you don't have self-discipline? Do you know what's going to happen when you get in a relationship with somebody that you really love and that you really care about and that you can't and you wish that was the only person that you ever met, or when you get married, you're going to wish that you had never been with the people that you've been with prior to that person because you can't see yourself without this person. The fact that you will have memories of other people being intimate with you is going to scar you for the rest of your life. You wish you would have shared that moment with that person. So don't let this world fool you thinking, oh, well, you YOLO and I need to get my experience. And hey, well, until my husband come or until my wife come. That's stupid. That's really stupid. It really just shows where we lack in God at, where we lack in discipline, where we lack in love for ourselves. So we're going to get all these soul ties. We're going to have all these experiences. You're going to be at risk of having STDs or what have you. You're going to have some kids or whatever. And so when you pop up to the person you want to be with, now you done got all this baggage because you done went on all these side missions. It don't work like that. And also, if we're looking for our spouse, our husband, our wife, are we praying before we get them? Or are we just saying, God, I want a husband. I want a wife. Please help me find my husband. No. If you know how God works, He knows the desires of your heart. So if you're working in harmony with your desires, God gonna make it happen. But are we praying for our spouses? When I pray to God, I go to the water. I like to go meditate. I go on walks and I pray for my spouse. I don't do it all day, 7 days a week. But when I feel the need and I feel that pull, I pray for my spouse. I don't know who she is. I don't know where she at right now. I have a feeling of who she is. I think I do. But I still pray, for her even before I knew who I thought she was or whatever. I still pray for her. I still, what she might be going through or blah, 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 whatever it may be. I still pray for her because being a husband, being a wife, it don't start when you get married. You already have the foundation of having a character of a husband, having a character of a wife, the way you carry yourself, the way you are, the genuine person you are, the relationship that you have with God, the way you treat your kids, the way you treat your parents, the way you treat family, the way you don't put yourself in situations, the way you don't allow, you don't have a whole bunch of attachments. See, a lot of people out here, y'all got, numbers and phones of people that you done slept with. Why? Oh, we just friends. No. If you trying to get yourself in a position to find the person that you trying to be with for the rest of your life, or your husband or your wife, why are you hanging on to attachments? Why are you hanging on to something? You think so you're going to leave that door open, so when a person come into your life that it could be for you, now you got to explain that this person used to be, or y'all used to have, and y'all still, no, you hanging on to dead weight. You hanging on to situations that you supposed to have been let go. It didn't work out for a reason, so what did you hold? Let me tell you something about me. I don't have anybody in my phone that I have been with I don't have anybody in my phone that me and her used to, kick it, or we used to, have sex and now we cool. No, I don't mess around like that. For what reason? What am I leaving that door open? Oh, we just friends. No, you're not. Oh, no, you can be friends with God. Why are you holding on? It didn't work out for a reason. You went on a side mission because we all have purposes in our life, and sometimes we veer off. That was a side mission that you went on. It did not work out. It didn't work out. Leave it alone. See, that's how you know that some people haven't grown, because why is exes still in your phone? Why do you still have your ex in your phone? Oh, we don't talk, so why are they in the phone? Why are they in your phone? Why are you still leaving room for, with me, I block and delete. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to play games, but I'm closing doors so I can move on. I don't have pictures in my phone of exes and what we used to, for what? I don't reminisce about things of that, because I'm leaving the door open for what God has for me. See, a lot of times we haven't found the spouse that we want to be with, or because we playing games with God. You leaving doors open. You saying, oh, well, God, I can't. But look at what you're doing at nighttime now. But we got so many different things that we do, like pleasing ourselves, masturbation, stuff like that. That's supposed to be for your spouse. You are not supposed to be sitting up there molesting yourself or touching yourself. That is supposed to be for your spouse. You are not leaving room to grow in intimate. See, what happened was you're so used to being intimate before you got to your spouse. Now you don't have the self-discipline to only do that when you with your spouse. So how are you going to be when you get into marriage? If you can't not touch yourself now, how are you going to be when you're in your relationship? If you don't have the self-discipline not to touch yourself now, not to only do that when you with your spouse, then how are you going to be in your relationship? That is just going to leak over in a relationship. If you got poor issues now, if you don't have discipline now, you're going to bring that same stuff into a marriage. You're going to bring those same problems into a marriage. So you have to work on those things now. Those are not wife and husband characteristics. Those are the remnants of old relationships and old soul ties you've been carrying, that's been carrying within your spirit, that's been carrying with you. And now you have to do the work to drop them off and start from a healed place. You have to start healing those things. You can't go into a marriage and you thinking, when you please yourself, you thinking about your ex. If your ex call you right now, we hear all the time, oh, it's that one ex that got me, that one ex that can get me, blah, blah, blah. If that's not healed in your spirit, you're not a husband or a wife material. I'm not saying you got to hate people. I'm not saying that, you got to, none of that. I'm saying you have to be healed from situations and understand it did not work out for a reason. Some people come in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Okay? You got to understand that people came in your life for a reason or season. Oftentimes what the Bible says that we are drawn out and enticed by our own desires. And what that means is we think of something that we want, something intrigues us through TV, music, or whatever it may be, our own personal desires. Then we keep thinking about it in the spirit, and then it gives birth in the physical. So we think about it up here in our mind, and then it manifests out here in the physical. I'm thinking about that woman, and then I do this. I masturbate, I watch porn, I do something like that to make it come in, manifest in the physical. So oftentimes we give birth to sinful situations because we manifest. So we have to be careful of what it is that we're allowing in our mind, and what we are being exposed to. And sometimes coming from old relationships, we have to cleanse ourselves. We think that we're ready for a marriage. We think that we're ready for the next chapter in our life. But no, you're not, because you still hurt from what this person did to you. A lot of times, because we have been in situations in our lives, we hold that on. We was never supposed to be in that relationship. That situation was never supposed to happen to you. You was never supposed to be in an abusive relationship. You was never supposed to get cheated on. You was never supposed to be with her. You was never supposed to have them kids. But what happened? We wanted to do what we wanted to do. We was lusting. We wanted to be big and bad. We wanted to be grown. And then we got grown problems. And so now you want to take what happened to you in the past, and I'm not saying it's okay, but you want to take what happened to you in the past and then you want to bring it into your future. That's why you haven't found your husband. That's why you haven't found your wife, because you haven't healed from those traumas that you was never supposed to be in the first place. That's why God has to be the center of any foundation. God is the only person that's going to heal us. God is the only person that's going to build us up. If we don't have God in your life, and when I say God, it doesn't mean, read your Bible, go to church sometime. I'm talking about having a true relationship with God. If you don't have a true relationship with God, and you're not moving from that foundation, you're not getting convicted when you do things, when you go places, when you hear certain music or whatever it may be, then that relationship with God is flawed. So the person that you should be with, if you have that relationship, obviously is a person that has a relationship with God. Because now when you bring God into the cord, that's the threefold cord. When you bring God into, that's one of the strongest ropes, I believe, is a threefold cord. When you bring God into that unison, it's tight. It's tight. You know why? Because when you drift away, God gonna bring you back. And when he drift away, God gonna bring you back. And what y'all gonna do is always gonna be centered on God. Because God is in the middle. God is the source. God is the foundation. So we have to get back to God being in our relationship. Because if God is not in the relationship, he going to do what he want to do. You going to do what you want to do. And nobody's holding each other accountable. He's not going to respect you. You're not going to respect him. But guess what? When you bring God into it, before I do something to you, I got to make sure that I'm right with God. It's going to hurt me more to hurt God than it is to hurt you. So I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be upset and I'm mad at myself that I hurt God. And I'm going to be mad upset that I got you upset. And that's how it should be. There's too many people around here acting like they own gods. There's too many people around here doing what they want to do, how they want to do it, when they want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. There's not enough humility. There's not enough faith. There's not enough God. There's not enough being patient. And a lot of times, because we're not patient with God, we rush to get problems. See, we thought this marriage was good, and we thought this career was great, and we thought, no. It ended up bad, didn't it? Why? Because you moved at your own accord. You moved because you thought and you saw what you wanted to see. See, God would have revealed in your spirit that wasn't the right person. God would have revealed in your spirit that you needed to work on this. God would have revealed that, hey, this career is not it. I got you. God knows what we want before we even ask. We just have to be patient. A lot of times while we don't even have the things that we desire in life, it's because we're not patient. We have to be patient. We have to put the work in to get the results. That a lot of that means just putting the work in us. See, God has to trust you with things before he gives it to you. He's not going to give you wife and kids if he can't trust you with that. So because God is taking too long, you're going to go do what you want to do. Your life going to get messed up because that person was trash. It wasn't a good father. Well, God would have told you that if you would have been patient, but you didn't want to be patient. So how can God trust you and give you things that he can't trust you with? So, yeah.